live. Hold on, y'all. Give me just 1 second. Let me make sure we live on this other end. All right, we live, man. Let me play this song. We'll be right back, y'all.
It's over, yeah. Over 50, man. You know it. It's so, Shout out to United Front. Yeah. Hey. Hey. Cognitive dissonance, colonized indigenous minds, bodies, innocence, European participants, Jesus no deliverance, rebellion with militants, culturally different, rape, murder incidents, justice no equivalence, lyrical abolitionists, ancestral reverence, soul music the resonance, mind sharp like elephants, melanin glow, elegance, imperial pestilence, governmental negligence, miracle black excellence, manipulate the elements, formulate with eloquence, bars of social relevance, United Snakes decadence, African-centered preference, my people set the precedence, MCE the delegates, go and check the references, eat it out the sediment, evaporate impediments, this that shit excrement, our story indefinite, saying Kofi by increments, body temple instrument, tuned into the infinite, over.
All right. Peace, and Black African power. Welcome back to Kofi Piesie TV. We have a special guest in the building, but first I want to say Imhotep, Dua, Dua Aku, Dua Necha, Fatma Walafie, Fatma Riwi, Fatma Iwa Pele, Majuba Iba Ie Gungun, Majuba Iba Ie Gungun, Majuba Iba Ie Lakba, Majuba Iba Ie Lakba, Igungun, Kiki Igungun. I always want to give honor and praises to the ancestors, because without the ancestors, we wouldn't be here. I also want to extend honor and praises to the true and living elders according to an African perspective and from an African worldview. Because over here, just because you are older does not make you an elder. If you do not meet that criteria from an African worldview or from an African perspective. Again, welcome back. Please like and share the show. I guarantee this is going to be a great interview. Also, man, real quick, let me do this. Again, this is the new Independent African Academy. This is a safe place over here. This is a place where you don't have to worry about any foolishness, any craziness, any types of antics over here. Again, appreciate y'all for supporting the new Independent African Academy over here. I'm gonna read real quick. Well, before I even do that, please, if you supporting us, please go to our Family Connect Apparel, Mboka Family Connect Apparel online store and get your new Independent African Academy t-shirts. And it's cold now, it's wintertime, so go get you, if you want to look fly, go get you a new Independent African Academy hoodie. It is also available on our Mboka Family Connect Apparel online store. You can get the whole fit. We have the pants that also goes with it. Also, go get Beautiful Lessons About Kimoyo. Beautiful Lessons About Kimoyo. With these, I'm giving the publication that we actually published in 2021. So Beautiful Lessons About Kimoyo. It is on our Same Tree Different Branch publishing company. So go get that. Go get our volume 5, Spearmasters, a historical survey in the minds of African warrior scholars, volume 4. Also go get Sean's book, What SARS-CoV Taught Me, and the latest edition, latest release that just came out a couple of weeks ago, our Spearmasters Institution coloring book 1. There are going to be many series of this coloring book. One, also be on the lookout for the Spearmasters Institution comprehension book, which hopefully will be released the first day of Kwanzaa, which is December the 26th. So please finish getting your submissions in if you want to make that book. But real quick, let me read this and we'll get into the interview. I always said once I go live, I promise y'all I'm going to continue to read these mandates, codes, and conducts from our new independent African Academy. Because again, over here, we don't run buck wild over here. We have mandates, codes of conducts, and goals that we are trying to achieve, and goals that we are already achieving. So the new independent African Academy community mandates. Number one is never talk down on another NIAA member in public. No pseudos. Number two. Three, research methodology must be followed. Number four, teach those that are ready and willing to learn. Number five, support other members. Number six, disagreements handled in private. Number seven, no one is above correction. Number eight, we must stand for Black Africa, its descendants and diasporas. Number nine, zero tolerance for dishonesty. Number 10, EY Riri, which means good character, or EY Pele, which is gentle carry, the standard for as how one must conduct themselves. So over here, you must have good character. Number 11, no selfish acts. Number 12, no scamming. Number 13, no pedophilia. Number 14, no disrespecting Black women. Number 15, race first. Number 16, supporting Black businesses. Number 17, integrity. Number 18, must possess the will to learn. Number 19, each one teach one, or the phrase that I popularized or coined, which is copyrighted. As I learn, we all learn. The new independent African Academy goals. Number one is producing more authors. Number two, producing exceptional men and women. Number three, institutions for learning. Number four, entrepreneurship. Number five, scientific literacy. Number six, scholarships for the youth. Number seven, long-lasting marriages. Number eight, creating rites of passages. Number nine, unification. And number 10, multiple support groups. So there you have it. Those are the goals, the codes and conducts and mandates for the new independent African Academy. Again, appreciate those who are in the chat. Please, again, like, share, and share the show. Let me go back up here to the comment section over here. All right. So, like I said, we have a special guest in the building. Y'all, please give Baba, which is his second time on the platform. I interviewed him on Author's Perspective. The first time we talked about three of his publications. So now I wanted to bring him back and, interview him on the Warrior Scholars. To me, he is a warrior scholar. So hold on, let me pull up my question. So Baba Imhotep, man, yes, can you please briefly introduce yourself for people that may not know who you are?
First and foremost, I'd like to extend honor and praise to, you, what you do with the Masi Warrior Clan and all that work. It's most definitely an inspiration. And it's always an honor just to be able to come and be on such a platform. So for those who don't know, I'm Baba Imhotep. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. I'm the lead organizer and the founder of PLM, Pan-African Liberation Movement. I've been spearheading the reintroduction and the reconceptualization of race first since 2020. Executive director of an Urban Youth Initiative Project, which is a nonprofit youth organization here in Baltimore City, focuses on the re-Africanization of our young boys. And one of our programs that we recently launched is the Asafo Development Program. And we're about to launch, which I think we'll be talking about it soon, but I'm going to mention it here anyway. We're about to launch, hopefully in January, our Kimoyo Schule Africana, which is going to be a weekend school. So I'm out in there, and all the other things that you need to know about me in terms of the audience, it'll come out as we get deep into the conversation.
Oh yeah, we definitely gonna talk about the school, man, the weekend school. We definitely gonna talk about it, man. So, man, what is Baba Imhotep? Who are some of your favorite warrior scholars, man?
Great question. For me, I would say there are so many, and I wouldn't want to leave anyone out. So I'll say it this way: I lean towards those scholars that I think and feel in my spirit that are seeking to re-Africanize and get everything that's African as much as we can. I'm not, I read everybody for the most part, but I'm saying those that are allowed to motivate and move me are those who I think and feel are truly trying to restore and recover what's ours.
Okay. All right. So name the last book or the book that you are currently reading, Bob.
The last book or the book that I'm currently reading. Okay.
Yeah, either or.
So what I'm currently reading is called Death and the Invisible Powers, the World of Congo Belief.
Oh, okay. Okay, hold on. Keep it up. I'm finna.
That's it right there.
Enlarge in my bro. Oh shit! I done removed them off of here, man. Hold on. Here you go.
It's on my list. I'm gonna get to it.
Mm-hmm. There it is, right there.
Right on my desk to the right.
Yep.
It's a great book. So that's what I'm currently concluding that. So basically what I've been doing over the years is pretty much trying to make my way throughout the whole entire continent, because there's so much there for us as a people. And so for the last month or so, I guess I'll say I've been revisiting a lot of the Congo and Bantu, things of that nature.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely got that book as well. I hadn't actually picked it up and started reading. I think it either was Black Panther who actually recommended that book to me, or it was one of our brothers on the Master Warrior clan or Kung Fu. I can't. It was one of the two. They always
on Kung Fu because he the one that recommended it to me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, brother Kung Fu. Yeah, shout out to brother Kung Fu. All right, man. So and I'm definitely gonna, I'm gonna have to put that on my list as well, because I know when I take a break, I got like a couple of books. I need to start, a couple of books that I need to definitely finish. One of them is your book. We're gonna talk about that a little bit because we talked about the other three. Your let me see, your Afrikan Manhood in the 21st Century, the second edition. It wasn't out at the time. I started reading it, but I hadn't finished it yet. So man, so let's just, I always like to talk about the name before we these, like some of these common questions that I ask everybody that come on, what is your favorite scholar of the last? Because I be wanting to know, what is some of the things that y'all are currently reading, man. And some good material. And that's for my benefit and for the people benefit as well, for people who are avid readers and wanting to learn more about our culture, our traditions, our customs, our history, our contribution. So and this is your name. Most of the people that come on, most of the people that I interview come on, they have these names. And can you explain or tell the people what is the meaning behind your name, Baba Imhotep?
Yes. So for many know, so Baba is not only is it it can be understood as a title, but it's also a status within a community. It's a status, and that status means that one have arisen to a certain place of respectability in terms of character and conduct, and he understands the ways of that particular community that he have arisen within. So Bob was just like, it's just a status. But Imhotep, which is my legal name, it's been my legal name since 2000. Imhotep is he who come in peace. And for me, when that name came about, it's because I wanted to always approach my people in peace, because I was coming from a bad place. So when I began to transform and change me as a person and change my inside, meaning to change my psychology and to reignite my spirit, Imhotep stood out. For one, because he will come in peace. For two, because he was a multidisciplinarian, and I felt that to carry such a name, would always keep me challenged in myself, because I want to strive to live up to the name. It's to the best of my ability. I want to be as he was. His spirit should move through me. And Fati'u, my last name, is liberator. It means liberator. So, because I want to facilitate African sovereignty, I want to liberate many minds of our people as possible, and that's my work. That'll been my life work for the better half of my adult life.
Okay, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. I just always have to get where I be wanting people to explain their name, because that is a big part in our traditions, is the names, the meaning behind those name. And I'm always trying to do that now, so to push our people in the future, you know, stop naming your kids Mercedes, Benz, you know, give your child a name, you know what I'm saying, that has some types of substance and something that is attached to it. You know, most of the time in the culture, you have many names. You know, you a young man or a young woman may have several names, and those names have, you know, meaning and purpose behind those names. So, man, appreciate you, man, for that. Now, man, let's get into, you know, we know you, you know, you promote, and that's actually your brand, Race First. So, man, what is Race First, man, and what does it mean to you?
So for me, I'm gonna explain it the way I define it. So for me, Race First becomes thought and behavior that places the social, political, economic interest, spiritual well-being, and overall material survival of the Black race first to facilitate African sovereignty. Essentially, what I'm saying is that everything that we do should move us towards African sovereignty. That's what Race First has to mean. It has to be that. And for a point of clarity, there is no sovereignty for African people without us actually contending with the sources and the forces that's already in our way of sovereignty. Like, we can't move around. We got to contend with those forces. So we have to understand that everything we do socially got to be about sovereignty. Economically, sovereignty. Politically, sovereignty, right? Spiritually, sovereignty. Everything has to be sovereign driven for African people. So that's Race First.
I got my mic on, Meek, man. So, okay. So, and I agree with you. I agree with, I definitely agree with that. Now, your Race First, and what's the name? He can kind of speak on this as well, because he attended one of the rallies. You did a Race First, your first race rally, and it's dope for me to see that, because we done had a conversation outside of social media, and I remember right around the time, this was like right before I did the first interview with you last year on your on 3 of your other books that I got over here in the corner, and we was talking and we was building over the phone, and I remember you talking about the Race First the Race First rally, and you know the importance of that rally and what you was trying to establish in the next couple of years with this Race First rally, and you jumped off the 1 in 2021, man. Can you kind of talk about the Race First rally and what cities they were in? Because you actually, this one, you seemed like you added more, and during the conversation that we had and over the time, I mentioned that I remember you telling me the one that was in Mississippi. I'm from Mississippi, the one in Gulfport, and you was having them. I didn't know till later on that you was having them simultaneously in each city at the same time, and I wasn't able to go. And I don't even know, did they ever have the one in Gulfport? Because Hurricane Rita stopped me from going. That day, we lost power the day I actually was going to go that Saturday, that morning, and get up and go. We ended up losing power here.
Yeah, the hurricane did cause that one to be canceled. So it was canceled due to the hurricane.
Okay, and I didn't even know if it did it. They still tried to go on with it or not. I know I said I wasn't for the chance and drive down there, because this was like 2 hours for me, so I didn't get an opportunity to attend. But you said they canceled it. So can you kind of talk about the Race First, your Race First rallies, and you know, this first one, and then kind of go into the second and your overall objective for these rallies?
Okay, so for a point of clarity, so everyone can be real clear about the rally. I know a lot of times what happens is things can be misassociated. And so what I make very clear is that the Race First rallies are not protests, because we are not rallying to ask for anything. So the rallies becomes the symbolic means to display the ability of us to be unified. So that's the reason why the rallies are happening now in different cities the same day, the same time, to show that we can organize. So the rallies are symbolic. But the reason why we do the rallies is because it's to facilitate organization in terms of unification. So we say race first, let's get organized. So the rallies becomes a declaration. Through our rallies, we are declaring who we are, what we're going to do, and how we are going to proceed and move forward. And we're making that declaration across the USA, right? So now the rallies is really what we define now as a national rally, because it's happening nationally. So the reason behind the rally was to get people together, to rally people together, to show them that we can come together, bring us together, have an agenda, try to align to the best of our ability all the presenters to deliver something on Race First, so that people can leave the rally with a singular message, which is Race First. So I give an example. So we did the first rally in 2020. It was only one. It was in Baltimore City. In 2021, we ended up in 7 cities. 7 cities. So right now, going towards 2022, we already 9 cities locked in. We're already 9 cities locked in for 2022. And we're shooting, and we just saying we're shooting for 15 cities. But I know we're going to get to 15. We're going to exceed 15 because of the energy and the potentiality of what we are demonstrating. And the people that's getting on board are people that understand the need. Hey, let's link up. So Race First is a national network. Race First is a national platform. So Race First doesn't ask anybody to relinquish organizational affiliation, organizational autonomy, or organizational sovereignty. It's not saying do any of that. We're not saying join an organization. We're saying plug into a network. Because if we plug into the network and we all organize under the banner of Race First, that's power. So that's what I'm seeking to do with Race First. I'm seeking to build a national network and a national platform that people who love Black people and want to do for Black people can work together through that network. Because what happens is this. So now you got people that are in different places that didn't know each other, that wasn't working together. Now they're working together because of Race First. So it's linking us up. It's pulling us together. And the plan at some point is to do a national Race First convention. We're doing the rallies every year now. But at some point, we're going to do the convention and bring all the cities together in one location. And we got the convention. And at the convention, we can lay out a Race First agenda, right? So now we got all these cities together on board, 50-something organizations. So now let's lay the agenda out. The organizations that focus on economics, all y'all get together in a workshop. The ones that's on politics, y'all get together in the workshop. The ones that's on culture or research, y'all get together and come back with that economic agenda, that political agenda, the cultural agenda. Now bring that back to us and let's roll this agenda out, see how it looked 2 years out, come back and revisit it. And now we got an organized plan because I'm tired. I am tired of the confusion and the disunification that exists amongst. I'm tired of hearing us say stuff like, why are we not organized? It's clear why we're not organized. You know what I'm saying? We're not on the same page. So Race First is an effort towards that end. Simple as that.
Man, like I said, man, I definitely, man, applaud you, man, for that, man. I really do. I definitely applaud you. I was just saying this yesterday, man, and man, you actually putting in the work. You have a lot of people that gonna talk. You know what I'm saying? You can have a lot of people that gonna complain, but you are actually one of the brothers who actually is, you know, putting everything, man, organized, strategizing, and putting these things together, man, and say, hey, I'm tired of it. Okay, gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put it together and let's see, let's see what's happening, man. I again, man, I definitely, man, applaud you for that. Brother Panther, what was your experience? Because you did attend the one in Baltimore, am I correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
I was in Baltimore. Brother Baba Imhotep found out that I was coming because I put it on his page that I was coming, and he gave me the opportunity to speak at the Race First rally, which I was grateful to come do. It was a great event, a much needed and necessary foundation was laid. So many people from so many different organizations were there, and we had a lot of speakers from various backgrounds, but everybody was united under the Race First ideology. So we did, our march, we did, our meeting, we did a unification of the RBG flag where everybody had their part to hold. So many things were on sale, as always. The markets, the vending, big part of it. We had poetry. We had a lot of different things, man. Met a lot of different people that I hadn't met before, and even met some people that I had only communicated with online via this rally. So I told Baba Imhotep then, man, it's going to continue to get bigger. It's going to continue to get the growth is going to continue to expand. And I plan on being there next year as well. So if anybody want to come out, man, you're going to have multiple opportunities to come out. Like Baba Imhotep just said, many cities are going to be having a Race First rally. So, there wasn't one near North Carolina, I don't think. So that's why I chose to get on a plane and come to Baltimore. And I wanted to come to Baltimore. I hadn't been to Baltimore in many years, and I heard that there was some history, some African history in Baltimore, which before we started walking, Baba Imhotep highlighted. We met at a specific park, and we met at that park for a reason, because it highlighted one of our great ancestors at that park. So I'm grateful for the whole experience.
Yes. I'm glad you made it out. Appreciate that too.
Hey man, anytime, man.
Yeah, I didn't know you spoke. I didn't know you spoke at the rally, Ben.
Yeah, absolutely. That nobody has a recording of, and that's my fault because I usually record my own stuff. But I was caught up in the moment, man. So no, I don't have no footage.
Yeah, it looked like the picture that you showed us. It looked like you, man. You definitely had a good time, man, while you was down there. And I know why you actually did it. You always trying to one up me, man, and make me feel bad. But it's but it's okay, man. Because I definitely was going to attend the one, man, in Gulfport, man. But Hurricane Rita, man, stopped everything, man. So next year, man, is it still on the calendar for next year, Bob Imhotep, the one here in Mississippi?
Yeah, it's gonna be two in Mississippi next year. It's gonna be Gulfport and Holly Springs.
Oh, and Holly Springs. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, no doubt.
Yeah, you ain't got no excuse, Kofi.
Oh, I was going to this one. I'm telling you, I was already locked and loaded, man. I was already locked and loaded and actually ready to go, man. I was trying to get my wife to actually take off, but she wasn't able to take off because she works on the weekend, but she wasn't able to get that weekend off, man. But I was ready to lock and load and drive by myself, go port like 2 hours away from it. I was definitely, man, excited about it, man. But I definitely, man, will be in the building. I definitely be there next year, man. I'm gonna probably go to Gulfport because I don't know if Holly Springs is closer. I don't know. I think it's a little bit further out for me, but I know Gulfport like 2 hours. I love Gulfport, and I'll just drive up there for anything to go shopping at any time. So I'm definitely be up there, man. So man, again, man, I
forgot to mention, if you came, you got a free RBG flag, and it's hanging up in my office right now.
Yeah.
That flag right there. Baba Imhotep spent the money on his own, to get that flag, and everybody got a copy of that flag and a copy of David Walker's The Appeal. if you didn't have that in your library already, you know, that was also available for free, you know. And I ain't never been to another event that did that. So that was you know, that was very generous, and I appreciate that. I got it up in my office, and you know, so many connections were made at this rally. I connected with people that were doing stuff that I didn't know they were doing. You know, one of the groups that really impressed me was Tendea, group of young men and women that were organized, and they were uniformed, and they were doing things in the Baltimore area alongside Baba Imhotep. And you know, I was able to support them because they got a couple of things going on as well. So man, it was great meeting all the people, and you know, locking arms and making plans and supporting people that I hadn't supported before.
May I address the question that just came up?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, because I be really want to be real clear about the rally. So the rally is just the strategy to bring organizations together. So what I would say is this, like Black Panther said, you know, so everybody that spoke at the rally, only two groups were actually from like Baltimore. Everybody else it was other organizations. So the rally is designed to get organizations working together, because everybody's already doing the work, and they have their unique lane that they're working in. We're just not working together. So the rally is simply designed at the base level to get us working together, because we're saying let's get organized. And one of the ways that I believe we can get organized is through coming together and beginning to work together. As we work together, we can begin to forge stronger bonds of solidarity. But the working and the collaboration have to take place. So, like in the Baltimore rally, you know, you had with the UNIA, you had the New Black Panther Party, with the Street Law Soldiers, with all those organizations involved, you know, the Mossy Warrior Clan, to make that happen. Organizations that historically haven't worked together, but we work together now under that particular banner. So the rally is just to get us to come together. You know, once we start coming together, we can figure those other things out on how we're going to do what we're going to do. You know, it's not a new organization. It's not anything like that. You know what I'm saying? It's not saying that we got this blueprint. No, that's not the rally. You know, we're saying, like, let's use race, right? The same way Garvey used, let's use race to get us together, right? And then those of us that are already doing the work, then we can have conversation about how we're going to work together. So that's the basis of the rally at the base level, to facilitate organization. At the national level, the rally brings us together, and it gives us a national platform, because the national platform allows us to begin to build national consciousness. And national consciousness lets us get to national identity. Because once we get to a national identity, then we're going to respond the same way when one of us gets shot anywhere in this land. Because we begin to realize that, hey, that person who just got shot, that was me that just got shot. But right now, we don't respond that way because our national identity isn't as strong as it can be. So these are just means and strategies towards those ends for the most part.
Right, which was like what you're saying, which was set up later on for the convention, you know, later on down the line, set up for the convention. And that's where a lot of these people, which I keep saying is dope, because I'm seeing what you're doing is you bringing us all together up under one banner. And a particular, like, through me meeting you, I met you through Dr. Oyama. And from Dr. Oyama, we have done business between each other, and we support, you know, we support one another. And then from you, I met Obafini, and I met a few other good people through you, which I support them through business. I know about them. So if something going on, I want to, you know, promote them. So, you know, with us supporting each other and us getting to know one another, and we sitting down, we sitting and we having these talks and strategizing, which later on will come the convention. You know, now we done been around each other, networking, and it's supporting one another. Now we can sit down, because at first you know, in order to do anything, you got to build a friendship or some sort of friendship. So I see what, you know, so I see what you're doing. So later on, when we able to sit down, now we're able to sit down amongst people that we met every year, you know, doing this thing. And now, and we know I got this in common with this guy, this in common with this sister, like you saying, the researchers over here, the people that does politics, economics, we all able to meet, you know, and lay out an agenda, a strategy, you know what I'm saying? And that's something good, because that's something that, like I'm saying, I hear a lot of people arguing about why we not unifying, why we not, and I'm one of the brothers who I say it a lot, you know, I always complain about we're not unified. We always, we always separate. When are we gonna be able to come together? You know, we always talk about together we are strong. We always talk about teams wins, but nobody is actually doing putting in the work to actually bring us together in order for us to win, because we always champion the term team win, man. So I like I said, I think that's dope, man. And I think, you know, that convention will take place. I think people will receive some of the things that may transpire in that within that convention.
Yeah. So let me add this to also. I remember listening to one of your shows, probably, matter of fact, it was right around the time when you was putting the idea out about the new Independent African Academy, and you was talking about Alexander Crummell and the things they was trying to do and stuff like that. So you was pretty much concentrating some of your energies in the 1800s. Now, the 1800s is really one of our golden eras in time in this land. Now, when you really examine the 1800s, one of the things that they did a whole lot that allowed them to make a lot of motion is they had a lot of conventions. So there's a book. It's called Negro Convention Movement, 1830 to 1861. Negro Convention Movement, 1830 to 1861. And it gets into all these different conventions and what came out of these conventions. So one of our most profound conventions of the 1800s, the National Immigration Convention of Colored People, 1854. So I'm gonna put this little booklet up.
Yeah, hold on. Let me enlarge in your hand so people can see that. Okay. Preceding the National Immigration Convention of Colored People. Okay.
Right. So inside this booklet is they outline, you know what I'm saying, a set of principles and ideals that they was going to live by, that they was going to organize and work by, right? And when you go through these ideals and these principles, you see a lot of these show up again in Garvey's 1820. What he did in 1820, you see it in there. You see it in Elijah Muhammad, because in here they says that no nation can rise above the condition of the woman. So a lot of what they laid out in the 1800s, we see showing up again. My point is this, right? Is that they worked up to those conventions. They worked up to those conventions, and that's how they was able to get people to come together at the convention to do the serious organizing. And so what I'm doing right now with the Race First rallies, this is just a prelude. This isn't the end. This is a prelude to what's to come. Because I recognize that it's so much confusion amongst us. You just got to start slow and move up. So that's what I'm doing. I'm not trying to jump out there and start slow, Bible, and just move up to it, right? When the convention come, it's going to be so organized, it's going to be so powerful, and you're going to have so many people that think the same in terms of politics, that's thinking the same in terms of research or economics or agriculture. Then you put all them together. All y'all get together in y'all lanes, and y'all draft what the agenda should look like for us, because that's your lane. And we come back together, we see what those agendas are, we look at those agendas, and we roll them out. So that's what this is all about. So I'm just following the suit of the ancestors. That's all I do.
No doubt, man. You definitely doing that, man. Now let's talk about, man, and you correct me if I'm saying it wrong. The Kimoyo Schule Africana weekend. I say Schule, right? Is it Schule?
Schule.
Okay. Kimoyo Schule Africana weekend. school, man. And when I seen that, especially with the Kimoyo, man, we're definitely, man, trying to popularize that term, because that term fits the traditions and the customs a little bit more, man. But can you kind of talk about and that's something that we're actually trying to do. That's why we created the Spearmasters institution. The Spearmasters institution is something just for the, for the children. We always try to target the adults and what the adults do, but at times we tend to forget about, our kids or the kids. So what can you and it's targeting, I think that the ages, you could correct me if I'm wrong, the ages that you are targeting with this weekend school is the ages from 8 to 10?
Yes, sir.
What can you kind of talk about that? What are some of the subject matters, man? Some of the subject matters, man, and how long the classes are going to be, man, and how often on the weekend.
So that's interesting. The first thing I'm gonna say is this: it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough uphill battle, because Black people, primarily, let me rephrase that. Because there are some Black people that we might classify as being bougie, but they understand the importance of education. They send their children to these little private schools on weekends and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be an uphill battle to attract the type of parents who understand the importance of education at that level, that's willing to commit to a weekend. So I'm shooting for Saturday and Sunday. Saturday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Sundays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So most of the academics would take place on Saturday. And so the basic academic stuff would take place in terms of, the reading, in terms of the math, in terms of, the language arts and stuff like that. That'll take place. Now, in addition to that, there's also going to be basic Kiswahili. It's going to be music. Music is going to be the first subject that's taught early in the morning. And this music that we are teaching, it'll be taught by myself, music. So I'm going to teach, hip hop, most definitely, original hip hop, the new era hip hop, the history of hip hop. I'll deal with, some Afro beats, some African music and stuff like that. But that'll be the first thing they get in the morning. Then right after the music, we go into what is known as the African proverb. There'll be a proverb on the board. That's for critical thinking. So the proverb on the board, we read the proverb, and everybody got to give an elaboration of the proverb. We talk about that proverb, and we move through the proverbs. In addition, there's going to be African philosophy that'll be taught by me, and under African philosophy would encompass, ethics, morality, cosmology, things like that. Will be all up under the African philosophy. Aspects of engineering is going to take place on Sunday. Dr. Ma'at is going to be there. She's going to teach the engineering piece. Her and some of the students, that's going to take place on Sundays. Engineering. It's going to be, drumming going to take place. We're going to teach chess. Physical fitness. We're going to teach physical fitness. That'll be there. I'm working with some vegan restaurants to try to be able to provide on Saturdays at least a vegan lunch. On Sundays, we'll do fruit snacks on Sundays with a vegan lunch on Saturdays. That I had everything. Probably missed some things. But personally, that's how it's going to roll out. And it's going to be an advanced, fast-paced school. The classrooms right now, each class is going to vary in terms of the time period. The engineering class is 90 minutes long. Right, it's 90 minutes, the engineering class. Now, the reading class is like 40 minutes. The math class is 50 minutes. So the class is going to, the time in class is going to change. It's going to move around like that. So that's how we're going to kind of move it. And it's going to be, and for those who want to know, I did a live the other day. So for me, education that does not link to African sovereignty is not education. I don't care what you call it. I don't care what degrees you got, right? If it's not linked to sovereignty, power, empowerment, if it's not linked to breaking chains and doing for us, then it's not education. So for me, at the base of what we teach is African sovereignty. So every subject will be linked to sovereignty, and the children would know the purpose behind education. They won't just be in this school and not know why they are there. And we're not telling that you're getting an education to get a good job and to get a career. That's not that. they're going to be educated to take their place at some point in the African sovereignty movement.
No doubt, no doubt. And you said the music, you'll be teaching the music, they'll be doing music in the morning, or start off the classes with music.
Yes.
And then you'll go into a folk tale where they have to critically think, man. I like that. I like that. And you adding a lot of the elements, like I would say the Kimoyo elements or our culture elements into learning. And that is one of the things when we mention Jali, or we mention Griot or Griotis, those are some of the things, that they are masters at. They are masters at teaching. They're masters at music, reenacting things through music, folk tales, and etc., man. So I see a lot of the things that you're talking about, you're actually implementing it into your weekend classes. And you said Dr. Oyama I'll be doing the engineering classes on Sunday.
Yeah, she's gonna focus a lot on she's gonna bring some elements of engineering. She'll probably do some STEM, but yeah, she's most definitely gonna be a part of the process. And let me add this piece right here that's often missed as well. A lot of our children in this society, when they go into different spaces, they are made to feel bad because of how they speak in their speech. So one of the things that we will be doing also here is that we're going to teach English, an English class, but we're also going to teach Ebonics. And we're going to help the children to know and recognize and realize that however Black people speak is a language unique to us. Now, we understand the importance to understanding anybody else's language if you talk to them. But we can't allow Black people to continuously walk around to feel like our speech is substandard in comparison to someone else. Our speech is our speech because it works. I remember listening to and talking to Dr. Wade Nobles, and we had this long conversation. He made a valid point. He says this. He said the purpose of education is to facilitate an interaction between two people. He says, so if the other person, if the recipient understands that there's nothing wrong with the language that's being used. If the recipient understands it, then the language is great, right? And that's what really matters. And our children need to know that. Now, they also need to know if they're going to go inside other people's spaces, they should know how to utilize that language, no doubt. But we don't want them to think and believe that language, that other language, is superior to them. And so part of what we're going to be doing in this school is helping our children understand that whatever is African, it's for us. And it's our standard, and our standard can't be placed in comparison to anything anybody else have. And we got to get that out the minds of our children, and that's also in the minds of a lot of our adults. A lot of our adults believe that. We see that's why I put a post on Facebook and I said, let's not say anything that's authentically African is an alternative to anything European, because it's not. Nothing that's ours is an alternative to them. Like Kwanzaa is not an alternative to Christmas. You know what I'm saying? Umoja Karamu is not an alternative to Thanksgiving. Like, these are not alternatives. This is just us. Culture is developed as you grow and evolve. So we just have to be able to embrace what's ours and know that it's ours and it's okay. So that's what I want to teach the children. Because once you free that up inside people, they can go on and be great.
No doubt, man. I like that, man. I used to be kind of ashamed of I got this thick country accent, man. I got this thick country accent, and my brothers, they be messing with me a lot in the chat. They had to translate. They said they had to translate my my talking, because a lot of time I say with this thick accent, at certain things I just can't pronounce.
We are not messing with you. We are trying to understand you.
Yeah,
there's a difference.
Yeah, so but Sister Kaba, she definitely, man, encouraged me, man, to be proudful of the way that I, the way that I speak. Most of the time people understand what I'm saying, for the most part. So I think that'll definitely be, man, a good element, man, also for the kids. I might need to take that Ebonics class with them. Yeah, man. So you wait a minute. So
You're not teaching the class? I thought you
you
was teaching it.
teaching what?
You're not teaching the Ebonics class?
No, I ain't teaching the Ebonics.
You sure?
I'm sure,
You
sir.
should, D.
I'm sure. I'm sure. But what did you say, Baba, did you say how long? And did you say, is it going to be a every weekend
Yes.
thing, or is it gonna be every week?
The plan is supposed to be every week, every Saturday, every Sunday. But there is a schedule that we got that will be closed on certain recognizable holidays and things in nature. Case in point, like you have African Independence Day. If it's on a Saturday, we're going to close. We're going to close on the things that recognize us. Now, some of the children we get may be parents that still acknowledge a lot of European holidays as well. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to try to force them to go to school in those days either, because they may not even be here. You know what I'm saying? So there's no need to have for the teachers to come out and stuff like that. So they'll be closed when holidays and things like that. But principally, if it's not a holiday or reason to close, then it will have that also going every week. And also another thing that I'm gonna do that's gonna be connected to it, because we got this space where it's gonna be at some point. I can't say when this piece will roll out, but I'm gonna roll out a children's marketplace where all the vendors will just be children, and then the proceeds from the marketplace will go to the school. So it'll just be that. It'll just be the children they'll be encouraged to get into something. Like my son, right? He already got 2 books out. He's working on the 3rd book. So the children be encouraged to do some things. We may do a marketplace, once a month as a fundraiser. All the vendors are just children vendors. So I'm gonna do that as well. It's gonna be linked to it, and to get them to understand how you can do for self, where you don't necessarily got to go out and knock on the door and ask for a job. You can actually do for self. And we start teaching them to do for self, and then at the same time, not only showing them to do for self, but showing them how doing for self can be utilized to do for a group, because the proceeds will go back into the school, and the school represents all of y'all. So they begin to see that early on, like, dang, doing for me helps all of us. We got to teach. We're not teaching that. We can't expect these children to do it when they get older. If we only showing them European capitalism, that's what they're going to do. If we always, glorify money, they're going to glorify money. If we glorify stuff and things, they're going to glorify stuff and things. We have to teach them another way by being different ourselves. And that's what this school should and will represent. I just need some committed parents that want to really move their children in a different capacity. If I can get that, we're going to get a final product.
That's all right. So you're not teaching over there. You're not teaching, go to school, get a good education, and get a good job. That's not what y'all teaching over there.
No.
Yeah, that's something, man, that I bump heads with my son's mom all the time, man, all the time. And he's hung up and glorifying money, and he think clothes is more important than, being able to self-sustain his own, self-sustain his own self, man. So I don't teach my son to get a good education and get a good job. I teach him to, to be get an education, get one. I tell him the same thing as Carter Wilson said. We must get 2 educations, one that is given to us and one that we give ourselves. So that's still a constant battle too. With that, I'm not in the household. I used to be in the household with my son. So it was, I was teaching him a lot of things about his people and the contributions that they made, and their history and their customs, and combating a lot of the stuff that he learns in school. It kind of got hard now, man, for me to do that, man. But I think that's definitely going to be key, is teaching them to self-sustain their own selves, and not only sustain their own selves, but also be able to provide, and like you say, be able to come together and do things together. So I think that's a great idea, man, as far as that children market that you got, man, teaching them. You also teaching them a work ethic as well. You know what I'm saying? You're teaching them entrepreneurship, man. So I definitely, man, applaud you for that, man. I would are you thinking, well, after this, let's say this it comes a success, or are you thinking about branching out to other cities later on, man, or are you just gonna keep this a Baltimore thing?
No, that's a great question. No, I would love to be able to replicate it in other places. So if at some point in the future that is possible, then yes, I would love to put two, because right now it'll be located in like the northwest Baltimore area. So I would like to put one at some point in the northeast Baltimore area, and then other than that, I'm willing to able to put it anywhere else that we can possibly put it.
Now let's talk about, man, well, first, man, what is African manhood, man, or what is manhood, man, to you? Because it's like I'm saying, this is like I see from, you know, and I could be wrong. I just see from the drop in that book, I just see manhood everywhere. Manhood, African manhood everywhere I go on social media. So I see that a lot, and that's why when I got it, I said it become a popular book, because a lot of people have been talking about, you know, your book, African Man. We're the second edition, African Manhood in the 21st century, man. And like I said, I've been so busy, I hadn't had a chance to actually complete the book, but I started the book a few months ago. And, you know, when I take my little break in January, this and a couple of other books, definitely, I'm going to finish that book and start on some books that I've been trying to read, but just hadn't had a chance to read. But yeah, man, just what is African manhood to you, man? Or what is manhood?
So, African manhood, and by me putting African there, is to distinguish the group that I was speaking to. I believe too often people are inclined to just always lump everything together within the United States of America. You know, this lump us all together. So I didn't want anyone to think that I was just speaking about some type of general thing when I said manhood. So I said African manhood. So by African manhood, I mean in a very loose way, a type of man that understands his relationship to his group, and by understanding that relationship to that group, he understands his responsibilities to that group. Meaning, I'll give an example. If you understand your relationship to the group and you see your group under attack, by right of being a man, you must come to its defense. That's what I mean. So we need men who understands that. You know, by understanding my relationship to the group, if I see young boys going astray, then I must come to their aid and help them in some capacity to get them back right. If I understand my relationship to the group and I see the group struggling in some areas, then I must step up in those areas that the group is struggling in to help them move forward to do better. So African manhood becomes the mindset. It becomes the status. It becomes the thing that the male have evolved into. It becomes something more than maleness and gender. It becomes an awareness and an understanding about a behavior that one must execute in relation to a group, a larger body. So what I do for self, family, I must do for community. So African manhood becomes that. That's what I meant for the most part.
Okay, man. Can you kind of briefly, man, kind of walk us through your book, man, African Manhood in the 21st
century. Yeah.
21st century.
So in the beginnings of the book, I pretty much speak about what we just finished talking about. I talk about that a little bit, and then I make the clarification about manhood just not being manhood. Each manhood is specific to a culture group. It's not just this horizontal thing that encompasses every adult male across the globe. You know, it's specific to a culture group. So then I go into what I believe are some valid characteristics that we each should exemplify. If not all, maybe all, and some additional ones. But if not all these, at least 10 of these. I think I got 13 of them. I think we should be exemplifying integrity. I don't understand why you don't have integrity. If you put your word on it, then see it through.
Right.
You know, this does no need to lie to none of us. We all in America dealing with the same bull crap. So why lie? I just don't understand it. You know what I'm saying? Have some integrity. You know, if you're the person that's handling the money, we should be able to trust you. In transparency, trust you. You should be stealing, dishonesty, disloyalty. You know, those things destroys people. So I'm saying, so I put that stuff in here to let us know, like, this is what men should possess. We should all aspire to be excellent in everything that we do. Not necessarily hating on or competing with our brother or being hostile and antagonistic. None of that. Be excellent at what you do. Purposeful. That's another one. Every man should be purposeful. Should be resourceful. Able to provide for self, family, and community. So I deal with those attributes. I go through that. Then I go through some things what I define as being some rules. Then I go through, what I define as being some laws. Self-preservation, self-help, and self-reliance. 3 basic laws of African manhood. And then I get into what I define as being the core areas of manhood, sexuality. Because I'm tired of hearing people say, you know what I'm saying, a homosexual is a man. I'm tired of hearing that. You know what I'm saying? He's not a man. He's a male, but not a man. You know, so I get into that. Yeah. Yes, sir.
I like at the back of the book, and like I said, I hadn't finished reading the book, but I had kind of got halfway, and but what caught my eye even before I started reading the book, I was just flipping through the pages and that's just something to me because I write books and I like to look at the layout of the book and what the book looked like. And you had something in here called boyish mannerisms.
Yeah.
And I like how you went into these mannerisms of a boy, or these boys' mannerisms that a lot of people have, and easily angered, and you break that down. Number 2 is selfish. You break that down. Egotistical, self-centered. And then you go in, you break each one of these bullet points, you break down. 4, impulsive, dependent, 5, 6, sneaky or manipulative, number 6, number 7, irresponsible, number 7, number 8, what is that? Indiscipline. I can't even pronounce the word.
Indiscipline.
Yeah, indiscipline. Yeah, indiscipline. Temper number 9, temper tantrum. Number 10, materialistic. Man, I like how you go into when you break a lot of those things down, and a lot of these bullet points, each one of them, I definitely can agree that those are definitely, man, some boyish mannerisms, man. I definitely, man, can agree. So I like that, man. It's, like I said, man, this is a well put the book. You got anything else, man? I just wanted to talk about that, especially the boyish mannerism. But is anything else, man, in the book that you wanted to touch on?
Yeah. In the first book, the first edition, because the book itself is essentially talking about character. Essentially, if you compile it together, that's what it's about.
Yep.
But the first book I heard, I got a lot of feedback from people, and they was like, "Baba, you didn't speak about character." In my mind, I'm saying I did. The book is character, but I get it. The way we are orientated in the United States of America, everything got to be spelled out for us. You know what I'm saying? Everything got to be compartmentalized. You know, so I said, okay. So I added a piece in this book on character, and I speak about how important character is to who we are. So I think that's important. And I also added the double cornerstone of manhood, which is responsibility and accountability. Responsibility builds character. Accountability is what sharpens your character. See, it's the ability for me to acknowledge that I'm wrong and to humble myself to whatever the correction is, right? That's what sharpens me. My willingness and my ability to assume responsibility is what grow me up. That's what grow us up. The ability to do that, to be responsible for other things and not just for yourself. Because you have to move boys from a place of being selfish. Because if you don't, they'll grow up and be selfish. And that's why we have selfish males that's saying that they are men. They males for the most part. So those are the only two pieces that I added in there that was new that I would speak to. And just in general, the fact that the book itself is written from an African perspective. So because we need to be able to always pull ourselves away from everybody else. And if we don't understand that what we are is not the same as what anybody else is, then we're going to remain confused and in trouble.
Okay, no doubt. Something else I had wanted to ask you. Well, Panther, you got anything for Baba Imhotep, man, before I go on?
Not specifically, man. Just I always appreciate your perspective. I always appreciate your fire, your passion for what you're doing, man, and just keep going.
Appreciate it.
That definitely what attracted me to him was his passion and his fire. Like I said, Dr. Oyamaat introduced me to him. I was actually looking at one of her shows, and so I always try to support my sister when I can. I had missed it. I think I watched it in the archives, and I was like, who is this brother, man, with all this passion, his fire, man? And I reached out, man, and especially when I found out you was writing books, I said, man, I'm definitely gonna reach out to him, man. I kind of like what he's talking about, man. Kind of like what he's doing, man. I'm gonna try to get some of these books and try to get him on, man. So, and I was glad, man, you was able to, to come on. I'm glad you can. You agreed to come back, man, and let me interview you again. Man, let's talk about, man, your new publication, man. You got a new publication out called Incarcerated, a glimpse into the poetic mind of the incarcerated Black man, man. Can you talk about what and it's actually a poetry book. So can you kind of talk about what inspired you to put together this poetry book, man?
Yes. So the backdrop to the poetry book is that the poems that are in this book were actually written between the year 1998 and 2003. And these poems were written during a time period when I was actually incarcerated. So I was incarcerated from 1991 up until 2004. I was in prison 13 years and 9 months. But during that particular time period, 98 to 2003, I spent a significant amount of time on isolation, which is called lockup. And while I was there, I experienced a lot of harsh treatment. And so during that time period, I was trying to figure out ways to stay strong, to stay focused, to stay alive, and just survive. So a buddy of mine at the time, he suggested that I use poems. He said, write some poetry, man. You're a good writer. You do a lot of writing, write poetry. I said, man, my poems don't come out right. They always come out kind of political. So we had a nice little conversation. Then I began to try. And at some point, I began to write the poems. So I wrote all these poems during that time period. and it was just for me. So I sat on those poems, and then, you know, this past probably like 9 months ago, I was looking through my papers, my writings, and I was like, man, I got all these poems. I said, I think it's time for the, you know, for the public to read these poems, because it's going to help anybody that listen to me or watch me. It's going to help you get a better understanding of me, because these poems was me. This is what I was going through, and I put it in a poetic format, so you'll better understand, like, oh, now I see why the Bible is like this, that, and other, because of this, that, and other. So I wanted people to have a glimpse, a more personal glimpse into me. So that's why I put these poems together, and I wanted to release these poems to the public, so a person can say, let me go see what he's talking about. And as you read these poems, you'll see the different types of emotions that I was contending with and the different thoughts that I was dealing with during this time period.
Can you hear him, Bobby Imhotep?
No.
Oh, I had my thing muted. I had my thing. I'm sorry. I muted.
Boy,
I muted my mic on my roadcaster, man. I kind of had some noise going on. My both of my stepdaughters, they had a niece back there, little baby back there in the back, and she talking up a storm. But you threw out was you testing the waters? I before the book come out, or you might have had already completed the book. I see you. I think you threw out maybe 1 or 2 poems. I think on Facebook, man. Was you trying to test the waters before you actually put the book, or you already had the poetry book already put together?
Oh, so during that time period, I put that poem up. The book was completed. I put the poem out so people can get a feel for the type of poems that would be in the book.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, with you got, let me see, how many publications you got? You got about 7 or 8 publications out on your own, right?
This is the 5th.
I did 3. Okay. You had one. Okay, you had another one at one point in time. I think you told me.
Yeah, I had the manhood book, and I took.
Oh, that was the one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I know it was one of them that you had took off of there, man. Writing, you self-published, Charlie. I think I asked you this on Author's Perspective. If I didn't, I want to ask you again that you self-publish all of your publications, right?
Yes.
You self-publish. So do you have a publishing company, man? You publishing through your own publishing company? What is it? African Liberation Movement certified.
So for now, yes, that's what I'm doing. I'm doing it through that with the hopes of to get experience at it. Then at some point, I may try to do another person's. I don't know, but right now I'm doing it myself to get the experience.
Mm-hmm.
I may go into it. I may not go into it. You know, if I choose not to go into it, then anybody come to me, I know to send them to y'all. You know, so that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, I think you'll do pretty good, man. With it. That's the reason why I asked, man. You know, I always try to encourage people to you know, the self-publish, and you know, or even just give them publishing company, you know, versus self-publishing. And then there's different publishing company that actually does different things. And then and with our publishing company, I went up under a mentorship with a publishing company. I actually took classes. I just didn't out the blue, you know, just, you know, through the publishing company. I actually spent a lot of money in these seminars and these online classes, 2 or 3 days a week, learning a lot of things where actually, you know, we created a one-stop shop, and you actually does your artwork and all that as well, correct? Your book covers, all that, your designs, you do all that as well, right?
Yeah, I come up with them, but I had somebody else to do it for me though.
Okay, you have somebody else to do it.
But it's in-house.
Okay, then yeah, okay. So, you know, and that was, you know, something, you know, I think that you probably be good at, man. It's it's a headache at times. I tell you, it's a headache. You have people on you, and I understand too that at times, especially with us, when you take other people, I know when we first did our first one, which we hadn't announced it at release, we actually got a couple of them that, like I said, is actually coming out. And I understand when you take some of our people money, I know the scamming part may jump in their head because you have people in these so-called community that has scammed some people. So I mean, I tolerated where, phone calls after phone calls after phone calls. They just trying to see is you working, what you doing. I done gave you my money. So man, I kind of understand that, man. You got any other thing, man, that actually you working on or coming out, man, in the near future, man, that we can be looking forward to?
So yes, so I'm quite sure y'all watch the news, or whether you watch the news or you see it on social media, and I'm quite sure we all see the violence that's overrunning our communities. No matter where we at, we see the violence. So since I was a part of that crap at once upon a time, I kind of understand the mentality and the behaviors. So I began to work on a book called Street Codes. It's gonna be called Street Codes. The forgotten rules and the lost principles of the streets. Just to try to get in there and put a different spin on what's taking place. So that's gonna be rolling out. I got another book will be coming out. It's called Nomo. And the unique thing about this book is that it's not specifically about Nomo as the concept.
Okay, that's what I visually thought of when you said Nomo. That's okay. All right.
What it is so basically what it is at some point when it happens, it's going to be a text that's going to be, that text is going to go hand in hand with an organization that I'm creating, that's going to be created. No More Worship Services. Because one of the things I realized that within the communities that we in, a lot of times, everybody don't always find a quote unquote, if you want to use the terminology, traditional or original African spiritual system. Everybody don't always find that. And we have a lot of people that just, that's out here that's missing. So what I began to do is I began to pull together, for the last 20 years, I began to pull together, different aspects of our way. And I'm linking it all on the Nomo, because I know Nomo represents, the activating power that gives force and power to the word. But we see the prominency of the word throughout Africa. So for me, the word becomes a linkage throughout Africa. No matter where I'm at in Africa, the word is utilized, whether it's utilized in prayer, sacrifice, whether it's libation, supplication. We utilizes the word, whether it's called in response. The word for us is power. And it's also a connecting agency. So Nomo, in the sense that I'm using it in, I'm using Nomo to connect all spiritual systems, to show the connectivity with all the spiritual systems. So through Nomo worship services, a person could say Alafia or Kwaba or Hotep. And there is no incongruency there. Those go hand in hand, because at the end of the day, they are all derives from our authentic base. So that Nomo, that book, Nomo, A Unified Field of African Spirituality, that'll be rolling out in 2022 as well. So I got like 2 projects that should drop in 2022. You on mute again?
Still on mute, bro.
My bad, man. Like I said, it's doors in here, man. But yeah, I'm asking. This is a question I always ask on my other show that I do, Author's Perspective, man. But I wanted to mix Author's Perspective in with the Warrior Scholar, so I wanted to kind of talk about what you actually was doing, in the community, some of the stuff, the great stuff that you got going on, as well as talk about those publications. Those are 2 publications that I that you put out as well. But then, like I said, this is a question that I always ask on the process, man. Like what and you know, this is a question for me, but also a question for the people in the chat that you know that aspiring to write a book. I want to know what that process actually shoot, I don't actually look like. Oh, you did actually look like. So what Baba Imhotep process look like, man, when you trying to put when you're getting ready to write a book, man? What your process actually look like, man?
I think mine might be different than most. Because I never sit down to just write a book. I continuously write over time, and then I come back and pull everything together. So that's kind of my process. So I am always writing, right? So whatever that inspiration is, whatever that motivation may be, I start writing, and I write. So I'm writing on several different things at the same time. Like I'm currently writing African Manhood in the 21st Century, Volume 2, Fatherhood. So I'm writing that also as I'm writing this normal book, as I'm writing this piece on the streets. And I'm also writing, you know what I'm saying, the politics of survival, race first. So all that's being written all at the same time.
Okay. Wow. I ain't got that yet. I ain't got that. I can and I know I probably could. I done worked on multiple presentations, but I had never just worked on, you know, multiple of my own books. I have worked on multiple books, like right now, I'm working on multiple books right now. But like far as my own and me writing and my process, I can't do that. I probably could, but I ain't finna try it. I ain't finna try it, man. But yeah, man, that's all, man, I got, man. Unless Black Panther, you got anything else, man, before we end the broadcast that you would like to ask? If not, man, we gonna wrap it up.
Nah, man, I got nothing. Great interview, man. Good to have you on the show, Baba. Keep doing what you're doing. I would like to see, in addition to engineering, you get somebody in there for maybe some scientific principles, some genetics, so we can understand our DNA more. So when people go to take tests, they'll understand how to break it down to where they understand what they're saying. I get a lot of people that take tests, but then they get the results and they be like, what does this really say? So, maybe that's just an idea for you.
Okay, great idea. I think, and I see the value in that. That's important.
Absolutely.
Yep, man. So, man, I like, again, man, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you, man, for allowing me to interview you, man, for the second time, man. And like I said, you doing a whole lot. You doing a lot. So I was like, man, I wanted to try to get you back on here, man, and let the audience over here know exactly, man, what you are actually doing, man, for the community, what you're actually producing as well, man. So I greatly, man, appreciate you, man, for gracing the platform again, man. And if there's anything, man, that and I said this before and I say it again, if there's anything, man, that you need me to do, man, just holler at me, man. You got my number, or you still got my, you got my number, don't you, Bob?
Yes.
Yeah. You got my number, man, or just hit me up, man, on Facebook, man. But you got any last words, man? Would you would like to share, man, before we end?
My last words would be for those that are out there, those that's truly invested in the work that we do. And I'm a firm believer that we all have to we got to support some kind of way. It's not enough to stand on the sideline and be critical, because I notice a lot of times that's what we become. We become very critical, and we can pick everything apart, and we can do that, right? That's insufficient, right? And it's not fruitful. Find some person, some organization, some group, find someone that you can just get behind and you can lend your support to. We need us. So that's what I would say. Let's just get involved and let's stay linked up. And I look forward to the day when, we can do more work together, going forward.
No doubt. And for the people out there, man, that may want to get involved with the Race First rallies or not only just that, but the weekend school, and support your publications that you have out. Man, how can they reach you?
So yes, anyone that's want to get in contact with me, the best and the easiest way is through Facebook. Just inbox me through Facebook, and you can find me on Facebook at Baba Imhotep, my name. If you search that name out, it's going to come up. Just shoot me an inbox, and I'm gonna get right back. I'm gonna get right back to you. And that inbox can be in reference to, what we're doing with the school, Race First. If you just want to know anything more about what I'm doing, if it's about trying to, purchase one of the publications, or if you just want to donate to the cause in some capacity, just send me an inbox.
Right. And if you purchase the publications, our motto, I knew it was gonna come. My son, he late. He normally know when I go live, he'll go to calling 1,000 times. But I ain't lost my train of thought. Yeah, over here, the slogan over here is patronize the author, man. I done had to say that so much. I end up having to create a shirt, wear some clothing. I ain't more than a shirt, man. Some hats, some sweaters, some long sleeves, some pants with patronize the author. I'm trying to, push that. It's very important, man, to patronize the author. Please, if you want to support the brother interested in getting any of his 5 publications, hit him up, and patronize him directly. We want these authors to get as much money as possible for their intellectual property. Again, it's cool to have your books on the other one. We got our books on all platforms, but that doesn't mean anything. Though. Just patronize the author, patronize the author, man. And again, I said Imhotep in the beginning, which means bring forth peace. So now I'm gonna say Imhotep, which means to depart in peace. Peace and Black African power. I'm gonna leave y'all with Obo Femini song, and y'all check out that interview with I'll have with him next week, December the 4th. I'm excited about
Kofi. The brother's name is Oba Femi, man.
I said it right a while ago, and then I tore it up, man. At the end, I told you, man. I'm terrible, man. I got to get right, man. But
we messing with you, right? That's what we
know. I know, but I believe y'all, man. He's a dope, man, hip hop artist, and I can't wait to talk to him about some things. I want to talk to him. We're not gonna just talk about music. We're gonna talk about some other stuff as well. But we definitely gonna talk about his music and music in general, and what music is looking like, in today's time, man. So again, man, Pete, let me go back to where I have it at. But peace, man. Black African power, man. We appreciate everybody, man, who tuned in. We appreciate those who going to come back and look at this in the archives. We appreciate everybody that supports us. We appreciate everybody that supports Baba Imhotep. We appreciate everybody that support Brother Ben and all the surrounding families, man. We're out, man. And here go my brother's song. Yeah. Am I on? Hold on. For some reason. Can y'all still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's over. Yeah. Over 50, man. You know it. It's so. Shout out to United Front. Yeah. Hey. Hey. Cognitive dissonance, colonized indigenous minds, bodies, innocence, European participants, Jesus no deliverance, rebellion with militants, culturally different, rape, murder incidents, justice no equivalence, lyrical abolitionists, ancestral reverence, soul music to resonance, mind sharp like elephants, melanin glow, elegance, imperial pestilence, governmental negligence, miracle black excellence, manipulate the elements, formulate with eloquence, bars to social relevance, United Snakes decadence, African-centered preference, my people set the precedence, MCE the delegates, go and check the references, eat it out the sediment, evaporate impediments, this shit excrement, our story indefinite, saying cover by increments, body temple instrument, tuned into the infinite, over.